389 Gaming.
Hey guys, it's Gar389 here, and welcome back. So, I've been a little bit busy, and I'm going to be busy for the foreseeable future working on my master's thesis in sociology, but I'm going to try and keep with the one video a week thing anyways, and for now, I guess I'll just record 2 videos today and try to make the best out of it. So I don't entirely remember what I showed you guys last time, but I might as well show you guys, at least what I've done since a few minutes ago, or, since yesterday, and stuff like that. But, as you can see, I've finished off the tree farm over here. So I've got birch trees going, I've got some... I've still got the jungle trees going. Oh god. Oh boy. That was not intended. Let's just skip that, because I'm not going to climb back up on this video. As I said, I'll use the whole teleporting thing just for convenience, because it's annoying as all heck for me to climb back up here. I do have, or I did have, water here. Apparently someone removed it. Oh no, it's still there. There it is. Right, so, yeah, I finished off the tree farm. That's done. It's looking good. I'm starting to go into the positive in all saplings. So what I want to do is I want to have backups of about 64 of every type of sapling. That's just, general logic to make sure you have more than enough saplings. So I have 64 spruce, I have 64 oak, and these ones, they take a little longer. The jungle saplings in particular are a real issue. You can actually go down in saplings because they have so few leaves and they produce so few saplings. So that in particular can be a bit of a pain in the butt. I don't know if I showed you guys last time, but I have automated the farms here. So they have now upgraded to auto farms, or whatever you want to call them. Let's see if one of them's done. Very simple setup. Got redstone that goes across here, and water comes out of that. I also went ahead and built myself a little granary. Right now, there's no way in, because I kind of just built this and then, flew out. Because I did it last night before I went to bed, so didn't have time to set up a ladder for it, but, I'll throw up a ladder somewhere. Probably I'll just have like a little path that goes around it, and then a ladder that goes up. So yeah, that's a granary. It's just, it's just for aesthetics. There's no real advantage to having it. But, it's cool. It looks neat. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do for today, because mainly I just have, like, menial tasks to do. Things like upgrading the town and putting up roads, or upgrading the roads and stuff like that. I might as well, just get started on that. I was doing some mining a few seconds ago, and this is actually attempt number 2 at making this video. But basically, the universe worked against me today, so any attempt at recording anything, really, ended in utter failure. Sorry. Don't mean to sniffle, I have a cold. So if I sniffle a little bit, that's why. It's because I have a cold. Alright, so, yeah, let's do this. This will actually look kind of neat. So while I'm doing this, let's do a little bit of talking. So, last time I kept losing my train of thought, so this time I've written down everything I want to talk about. And particularly what I want to talk about is Battlefield 4. And I also want to know if you guys want to see Battlefield 4 on this channel. I know I did a Battlefield 3 video as my first video ever, and it's actually my second most viewed video ever. But that was mainly Pete's fault. Pete was like, everyone subscribe to Gar389 and he'll make a YouTube video. And then when I made a YouTube video, he tweeted it out, and a bunch of people saw it, which was great if it had been a good video. But it was only average. But I'm interested to hear whether or not you guys, even care. Do you guys want to see Battlefield videos on this channel at all, or do you want me to pick one game and just stick with it forever? Because if you want that, it's not going to happen. I'm just putting that out. I want to hear your opinion, but that's not going to happen. But whether or not you guys want to see Battlefield 4, whether or not you're excited for it, that will determine how much time I invest into actually making videos for Battlefield 4. So if you guys are completely uninterested in seeing it, it might be one video every now and then when something cool happens. Come on. I have fly mode enabled. Why can't I fly? There we go. This is the reason I need to get those fences up, because I keep falling down here. Well, actually I don't. I never fall. I only fall when I'm recording. Because, when you're recording, you don't have 100% concentration. That's one of the reasons you're not supposed to talk on your cell phone when you're driving. In case you didn't know, hands-free mode does not actually help that at all. The only reason hands-free mode is legal and non-hands-free mode is not, is because, at least with hands-free mode, you have both your hands on the wheel. That's the only difference. It has nothing to do with your reaction time. Your reaction time is just as bad. So, in the event that you think it's cool to drive without, while using your cell phone, it's not. It's stupid, and you shouldn't do it. All right. Well, we're gonna need some wood, so I'm gonna do that too. Let's see. I have this pickaxe on me. I shouldn't have that pickaxe on me. Okay, let's go. All right. Now we're out of the rain. For now. Alright, so, tree farm. Tree farms are useful. Oh crap, it's one of those messed up trees. I hate them. I hate them to death. So, but anyways, let's talk a little bit about Battlefield 4, because, Gamescom happened, PAX is happening right now, and there's a lot of interesting information that's coming in. I know you guys have all heard the information, so I'm not going to give you guys the news on it and everything. But, I'll talk about it anyways, because, it's interesting. I like to talk about games. It's what I do. So, in particular, I'm really excited for it. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Battlefield turns out. In particular, things like I have to look down at the sheet of paper. The fact that carbines are now available for every class is one thing that I'm really excited about, and it's something that I was wondering why, it wasn't the case before, because carbines are generally becoming very popular in modern militaries. Because they're versatile, they fit in every situation, and they fit particularly well in urban warfare settings, which are more or less the norm at the moment. And those also encompass a lot of the maps that you play on in Battlefield 3. So, why that was not the case earlier is a little bit debatable. I guess they wanted to give the engineers some kind of advantage by giving them carbines, but it didn't work out that way. Assault rifles were generally better than carbines, so people preferred the assault class because it had the medic abilities, and it had noob tubes, and it had all the good stuff, basically. Unless you're a guy who plays with shotguns. But even then, you could still have a shotgun on an assault class, so the assault class was just the most popular in general. And I think it's still going to stay the most popular. I don't think that's going to change. But what they've done is they've added a lot more viability to all of the classes. First off, they've nerfed the healing abilities of the medic. So revived, revive, what's it called? What are they called again? I actually don't remember what it's called, but you know, you get the point. Their revival ability has a 4-second cooldown time, so they can't just insta-revive everyone and just run around behind their teammates insta-reviving every time they go down. So now they have to wait for 4 seconds before reviving. And I believe there's also a cooldown after they use it, so they have to wait a few seconds before they can use it again. But that was in Battlefield 3 as well. There was always a little cooldown so you can't spam it, but it was never long enough that there was actually any difference. But the 4-second extra wait before you can revive someone, that you have to charge the defibrillator, I don't know how it's called, or what it's called. I am uneducated. I have a master's degree in sociology, and I cannot speak. Well, mainly that's because I study in Norway, not in the US, so I don't practice my English that much. But yeah, the fact that they're nerfing the medic class is going to be a bit of a changer. It's going to move some people away from it. It's going to put a few people off being the medic, which is good, because there were too many people running around as the assault class. And also, changes they've made to the recon class may actually benefit people who want to use the recon class. Because as you probably know, the recon class is, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, it is the least useful class in Battlefield 3. It is, I think it's actually the only class that has no ability to damage tanks or vehicles. Except for, choppers. They can do damage to choppers with the high-powered rifles, but for the most part, they're the only class that can't actually damage vehicles. So they're virtually useless against vehicles. And there are a lot of vehicles in Battlefield 3. So that makes their versatility kind of limited. And also, most of their abilities are geared towards recon. Their name, reconnaissance. Actually reconning. Actually, getting intel on the enemy. The problem is a lot of people play the game alone. And yes, I'm going to fly for these because I don't care. I just don't care. I am always going to use fly on these things just because they are horrible. So either way, what was I talking about again? I keep losing my train of thought. I always do that. So yeah, the recon class was generally not that great because they were focused around reconnaissance, gathering intel and, stealth and setting things up to where your teammate can spawn in advantageous positions. But people didn't take advantage of that. And mainly, I think it was due to the fact that or at least the main nail against it is that the recon class didn't have access to any medium range abilities. So they could use, like the M39 and the SKS, is that what it's called? The two DMRs that they have access to, and use those at short range, but it's not quite as great as having a carbine or an assault rifle or something to that respect. So now that carbines are available for everyone, that kind of changes the game quite a bit, in that you can now play as an offensive recon without having to get really, really good with a DMR. And alternately, you can still use a DMR, so the option is still there. but DMRs, are geared towards medium to long range, whereas carbines are geared towards short to medium range, which in most cases makes them more useful, unless you're really good with a DMR. So that benefit is pretty good, and also that they have, sort of carry around. What are they called again? Once again, I can't remember them, but their little laser designator that they had before. They have a mobile version of it, basically. So now they can be on the go and still use their ability to lock onto tanks and stuff like that and help their team, while still being, mobile in the front lines helping out. And that's going to be a huge benefit in the long run, that you can now play as an offensive recon. You can use the recon's many useful abilities, which, like I said, they were the least useful class, but they had a lot of useful abilities. It was just that they were geared in a way that made those abilities practically useless. Because, 99% of recons, well, I guess that's a little rough, 90% of recons, hang back and snipe. And they keep their distance, and if they set up one of those, one of their most useful abilities, the radio beacon, it's going to be well out of enemy lines. It's going to be well away from the enemies. And that's not necessarily an advantage, because all they're doing is setting up a respawn point for themselves. They're not setting up a respawn point for other players. And the most advantageous thing to do is to get that respawn point inside a building near the enemy's base, or behind enemy lines, to where your teammates can respawn in a flanking position and flank the enemy. That's what you want to do with them, but the kit setup or the kit loadout for the recon class didn't favor that. It favored a more stay back, keep your distance type of strategy, wherein you can't get in close, or it's difficult to get in close. But having access to the DMRs, or sorry, not the DMRs, but the carbines, will hopefully fix a lot of that, to set it up to where people can be offensive recon units, or they can be offensive recon players with minimal effort. And minimal effort is actually an advantage. You may think, well, that makes the game easy if you can do it effortlessly. Well, the thing is, a lot of the players in Battlefield 3 are going to take the path of least resistance. So if players want to play as recon, and they realize that the easiest way to play it is to hang back with a sniper rifle and pick people off at long range, they're going to hang back at long range and pick people off with a sniper rifle. That's basically what I'm getting at. So setting up, giving them easy access to carbines so that they can be effective at medium range if they want to, it'll make that transition easier, rather than forcing them to learn to use DMRs, which can be a lot more complicated to use at medium and close range. Mainly because you actually have to hit the target. But the recon class isn't the only class that's really changing up. The engineer class has a lot of new tools for it, which I'm looking forward to seeing. The fact that you can now bring both AT mines and rocket launchers, and I'm not sure if you can have more than one rocket launcher. I don't think you should be able to do that, but I haven't heard anything about it, so I don't know if it's a possibility even. But if that's an opportunity, that could be a little overpowered. But what I'm getting at here is, if you have access to both AT mines and rocket launchers, then you can be a pretty diverse anti-tank unit. And similarly, if you can use repair tools and AT mines and repair tools and anything really, then you can be a more versatile engineer, and that's going to be good. I like to play as engineers. I'm also probably going to end up using a lot of DMRs with the engineer class. Not because I like to hang back and snipe, but because I like to use DMRs. I like to use particularly the M39 because it's a really decent medium to long range weapon. So yeah, that's my take on it. Also, the what do they call the support class has been given a couple little benefits. Particularly one that I'm interested in, or one in particular that I'm interested in, is the mobile, or what was it called again? Mortar? Yeah, the mobile mortar, which seems kind of cool, actually. I'm a little bit excited about that, I'm not gonna lie. Being able to shell people at long range while simultaneously staying in the front lines with your team, that's going to be a major benefit. Because one of the problems with mortars is that when you're using them, you're pretty much behind enemy line, or you're pretty much behind your own lines, staying at a distance. And like when you're a sniper, that takes you out of the fray. You can't be up close and dealing with the major problems that are going on in the front lines. You can't help out your team in a lot of the defense because you're hanging back. And that's perfectly legitimate if you're working with a team, but a lot of people are doing it while not working with a team, so there's no one to compensate for it, and you end up with half of your team just hanging back sniping. Even when you're on offense in rush. And if you have like a combination, you have some people sitting on mortars, hanging back, not hitting anything, and then you have a ton of people with sniper rifles hanging back, picking off occasional units, stuff like that. It whittles your team down quite a bit. So having things set up to where the snipers can actually be, or where the recon class, people who want to use the recon class for its abilities, can get up close and contribute, while simultaneously having it set up to where people who want to use mortars can also stay in the front lines and help out. That's going to be a huge bonus for everyone, basically. It's going to be good for everyone, except for the enemy. So what else did I have on this list? Yeah, I'm also looking forward to seeing how the team dynamics change in the upcoming game. One of the big things is the fact that you can now build a medium or a class that is set up for any range combat consisting of all 4 different classes, because you now have DMRs for long range, you have carbines for medium range, and you have shotguns for short range for every class. And that will make it so that you can set up any sort of class structure you want, so to speak. So you can have 4 recon units that are all using carbines designed for medium range combat if you want to. Or you can have a bunch of medics designed for long range combat or set up for long range combat if you want that. And also there are a lot of new attachments and stuff that make it so that you can really diversify your characters in a way that you couldn't in Battlefield 3. So that's going to be something to look forward to. Let's get this going. Yeah, I'm going to use these. I'll use these for fences. million sticks. Yeah, this is going to be just fine. This will also alleviate the ugliness a little bit. Let's do this. Hold on. There we go. And torches. That's actually a thing. I'm going to need a lot of torches. Oops. Yeah, let's work on that for a bit. I do have a ton of charcoal, though. That's my thing, is making a ton of charcoal. Let's get you out first. Pigs below me. Everything is going to hell. Let's see. And yeah, one of these. There we go. And do we have any more sticks? Yes. There we go. And that should do it. Put these up for a bit. I hope my computer doesn't make too much background noise. It probably will. But I'll hopefully edit that out. I was going to use stone walls for this, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Might as well just throw down some wood. So yeah, this is looking better already, because you know, it's always bothered me that these roads are, you know, so tiny. I'll probably do a more artistic design for the roads when I make them up there for the towns, because I want to have like a series of different towns built up. This will be like the industrial area, and you know, I have my house over there. And I want to have like a second level up here that's almost exclusively like towns and stuff. And hopefully that'll look neat. Alright. Oops. That was not intentional. Give back. So many creepers. Creepers everywhere. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I had to talk about for Battlefield 4. It's also going to be at PAX, I've heard. So PAX is going on, so we might get even more information on it. So if there is any, you know, really useful information, I might talk about it, but there's a good chance I won't. Because, you know, I have no way of getting news out fast enough to you guys to where you wouldn't have heard it from someone else already. But, you know, I could try. Probably won't, though, because I'm way too busy working on my master's thesis for that. Hopefully when that's done, like next year, I'll be able to get a normal job, and it will be a little less stressful. This is going to be an issue, isn't it? This is turning out nicely, though. This does not require we go. Is there anything else to talk about? I don't really think there is. Sorry I, dazed off for a little bit. I was trying to read the chat. Yeah, I guess I've pretty much done everything that I set out to do today, because I wanted to talk about Battlefield 4, and I wanted to get this running. Yeah, it looks much better now. I'm definitely going to do that for the rest of the area. And I'm not going to do that on screen. I think I'll do that later. Because, this is going to take a while. Yeah, it's going to take a while. And I actually used up all of my fence. Oh, I'm going to run out of wood. This is going to be fun. So, I guess that'll be it for today, and I'll talk to you guys next week. I'll probably record the next episode a little later today, but I'll probably not upload it until Wednesday. Because Wednesday is one of my days off, and I like to go off to college and study, so what I'll probably end up doing is I will start rendering and uploading, and then I'll go out to the university and let it upload, and when I get back it should be done. So I will end the episode here, and yeah, we'll talk later. Bye-bye.